Welcome to Visual Basic. We're going to be taking a look at 4.6, and you will be responsible for having this program written. But you may take pictures with your phone of this at any time you'd like. Everything's going to be done on here for you. Hopefully I can do this in a timely manner and without stumbling around too much. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. I would recommend if you have your book with you, you may want to be referring back and forth to it. But here's what we've got. Piece workers are paid by the piece. Workers who produce greater quantities are often paid at a higher rate. That makes sense. On our form, we're going to have text boxes to obtain a person's name and the number of pieces completed. I've gone ahead with everything that's written there and set up a form. The basically, of course, this is in Word. This is everything that's asked for. And so we're supposed to grab the number of pieces here, do a calculation, say what the employee earned, which is our amount earned. In the summary box, we're to have the total number of pieces for all employees entered that day or at that time that we're accessing the program, the total pay of all employees, and the average that each employee got. A clear button that just clears the employee name and number of pieces, and a clear all button that would also clear out the stored data, because I'm going to have to accumulate the total number of pieces and the total pay and the total number of employees to get the average pay. Ultimately, to get the average pay, I'm going to have to take the total number of pieces, or excuse me, the total pay, and divide that by the total number of times I've successfully hit calculate. So I went ahead and got that, just put in this Word document so we can take a look. Other things that you're gonna see referred to, we're gonna have to take the number of pieces that they had to determine, I'm looking down at the bottom of this, to determine the price they're paid for every piece. So there's definitely an incentive here for the workers to, if they created 190 pieces, boy, they better bust their tail and try to get to that 200, because you get the increase on all of the pieces you had. So anyway, there's other information here in the summary to talk about, disabling, enabling. I'm going to do all of those things with you, but I'm going to go ahead and build this kind of on the fly. So let's take a look at that. Here's the actual program, but I'm going to go File, New. Really tempted just to start with this one, actually. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go into, since I have everything here, in the interest of time, I'm going to go in here and just delete all of our code. Ooh, that's painful. Alrighty. So, back from a form perspective, so I've got names. You can check over here in the properties box over where I just clicked. You can take a look. I've got these all named properly, txt name, txt pieces, calculate. When I hit calculate, I'm going to need to grab the number of pieces here, determine how much this employee earned. So we're going to go ahead and start there. In this calculate button, let's go to code. Did they not take me to code? Here we go. Okay, so I've got a button calculate. I'll get rid of this. If you're watching this in 2019, the winter of 2019, you're aware that's not the right timing device here, but that's all right. Our 3 comments. So I'm going to need a variable to grab the number of pieces. So let's take a look what we've got there. I'm going to go ahead and go dim. Let's go name string. I put name string in here, but it never asked for the name. So let's go ahead and just go dim. Let's say pieces integer as integer. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and calculate their pay. So I guess I'll go dim. Let's go pay per piece. Here's how much they're going to get paid for each piece, and here's how much they earned. Those will be decimals, because those are things that I'm supposed to be doing with the pieces. Okay. Oh, you know what? It does say in there, I do need a name string. I could go back there and show that, but you can check in the book. I'm going to go dim name string as string, because they say if the name's not entered, don't allow calculation. So let's go name string equals what's in txt name.text. And then once I have that, I want to check and see if that name string here, employee name, if it's blank. So if name string equals nothing, then I'm going to go ahead and give them a message box here. I think your book does message boxes a little bit differently than I do some of the time, but name field is missing. And then, let's see here. Sorry, I'm looking off some notes that I have. And then I'm going to just put them in txt name.focus, because if I run this now, I like to run after I get a few things done. I'm just testing that out. And let's say I put my pieces in here and I calculate. I'd like them to tell me that the name field is missing and put me right here where I can enter a name. Okay? So now if I go ahead and calculate, it doesn't give me that message, but I just haven't set it up to do anything yet. All right, back to business here. So then I'm going to just put an else, and all of the business end of this program, of this subroutine, is going to be done here in this else statement. I'm going to try and catch a little bit later. I want to get things to work here. So the next thing I'm going to do is figure out my number of pieces I have. Pieces integer equals txt pieces.text. And that's a potential problem for our computer, because if the text pieces, the pieces in the text box is not numeric, the computer's going to crash here. We'll worry about that after a bit. So then I'm going to go if pieces integer, show you what I'm doing with this. Let's go back to here. I'm going to deal with this pieces complete down here on the bottom half of this. I'm going to deal with this 199, 399, 599, and 600 and determine my prices. So this is all based on that information they've given us. So here we go. So if pieces integer is less than 200, then pay per piece decimal equals 0.5. That's our 50 cents. If you want to put the 50, you can, but it's just going to eliminate it. Then I'm going to do an else if pieces integer is less than 400, then pay per piece equals 0.55. Else if pieces integer is less than 600, then pay per piece decimal equals, they get 60 cents at that point. Else, we could put else if, but else if we get to this point right here, we're not less than 200, we're not less than 400, we're not less than 600, we must be 600 or better, so pay piece decimal equals 0.65. There's our 65 cents. So that's our best case scenario right there. Now once we've got that, I'm going to have the amount earned. Do we have that up here? Here's my earned decimal. Here's how much the person gets. So I'm going to calculate my earned. It's going to be equals, or not equals, but earned decimal equals the number of pieces they have, pieces integer, pieces integer times how much they get paid per. Pay per I should have done capitals in there. I'm sorry. Pay per piece decimal. Bad naming conventions by me there. All of these, and I don't think just capitalizing them here will get the job done since I've named it elsewhere. Pay per piece decimal as decimal. Maybe if I hit an enter here. Nope. That's what I get for not using good naming conventions right at the start. Did I spell that differently up here? Pay per piece decimal. Earn decimal. I think I'm going to go back and just retype the whole thing now. Pay per piece decimal. There we should have it. Pay per piece decimal. Oh, stick with me here. Pay per piece decimal equals pay per piece decimal equals pay per piece decimal equals, and this is not pay per piece. Control Z. Yep, that is pieces. That one was actually okay. Pieces, integer. Okay, so I guess I have to retype this one the whole way again. Pay per piece decimal. Okay, sorry about that, but it's probably good for you to see that I sometimes forget that as well. So this earn decimal, I accidentally deleted that up here. So comma, earned decimal. Notice how it's giving me those errors, and it's probably good that you see this. Earned decimal. It gave me those little errors, and I try to address those on the time. So now I've got earned decimal. So I want to put that right in here. That's my TXT, as you can see over here, TXT amount earned. So this would be a really good time to TXT amount earned.text equals earned decimal. And if you've been doing this for a while, you know this should be a money value, and that is toString currency. Really good time to check and see if this works. So I'm just going to go ahead and run this guy. And I do have to put in something for a name. And I'm going to put in 200. At 200, if I recall here, let's take a look. At 200, I should qualify for 55 cents a piece. Let's see if that works out. At 200, let's get my run here. I calculate, and that would be at 55 cents times 200, $110. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Okay, so that takes care of this thing running other than our try, and now I need something to keep track of total pieces. And since I'm going to be adding into that total pieces, we all should know pretty well that we need to dimension that up at the top as a private so it maintains its value. So I'm going to go private total pieces integer as integer. And now this is a really good time after I get my pieces to go ahead and maybe I'll even put it in here. Go total pieces integer plus equals pieces integer. Actually, you know what a better place to do that would be? A better place to do that might just be, I'm going to control X that, and as soon as I get my number of pieces, I might put it there. It doesn't make it work any better, but I kind of like it there. Down here, I was really concentrating on figuring out the earned decimal and putting that in. Okay, now I am going to put a comment right here. This total pieces decimal, this is for the summary. So I'm not going to put it back out there right now until the summary button gets hit. All right, so let's go ahead and see if we can get that to work right now. So I'm going to go ahead and add summary. So summary. In the summary, total pieces are going to go right here in txt total pieces. So for the summary, do we have a place for that? Yep. txt total pieces dot text equals, and what did we call that guy just a moment ago? We called that total pieces integer. Total pieces integer, which I do not want to toString that. So let's take a look. I'm going to start this thing. I'm going to just say 100 pieces. 100 pieces. I'm going to calculate. Name is missing. Good. I put something in there. Calculate. I've got 50. And now if you notice, I had this button, the summary button, disabled. And it actually says to do that in the directions. Talks about don't let them do summary until you've calculated. So what I need to do is in my calculate button, I need to take that btn summary dot enabled and turn that to true. That's when I get a calculation. Let's see if that does it for us. So now I run. I get 100 here. I have a name here. I calculate. Oh, now I can summarize. There should be 100 pieces so far. I don't have a clear button yet, so let's just put in 200 pieces. Calculate. There's what that person earned. My summary. Now there's 300. I'm feeling pretty good. One more. 500 should get me to 800 pieces in the summary. Okay, so I like doing things like that along the way. The next thing I'm going to deal with is total pay. So once I figure out the amount they earned, this person earned, I can add into total pay, but total pay has to keep its value for the duration of this program. Private, let's see, what do I want to call this one? Let's go total pay decimal as decimal, because of course it can be a decimal. So once I get my earned decimal, perhaps here, total pay decimal plus equals my new amount earned decimal. And likewise for this, I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, this is just for the summary. Just a quick comment in there just to tell me, hey, I'm not really trying to put that on the form right now. Not until we get to the summary. So let's jump back to the summary. Hopefully that's txt total pay. It is. So txt total pay. That text equals total pay decimal dot toString currency. And let's check and see if that works for us. Run it. Give me a name. Jeff. Actually got a sort of a name. Give me pieces 100. Calculate. Summary. So far my total pay has been 50. Let's go 400 here. Calculate. I should have my clear button, but I don't have it yet. Calculate. 240. So now my total pay should be 290. And there we go. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Okay. Average pay. Well, for the average pay, I need my total pay, and I need that to be divided by my number of customers. So my number of customers, or number of employees, excuse me, that's going to have to be kept up here, and that's an integer. So let's go customer count integer, not customer, employee. Now let's just call it count integer. I'll be lazy there. What else am I counting other than the integers, the number of times I hit the calculate button? So every time I successfully hit the calculate button, I can just go ahead and just say count integer plus equals 1. Now, if I know the count integer, and I know the total pay, I can find the average when I go to summary. So in summary, I think I will dim average pay decimal as decimal, and I will just say, well, average pay decimal equals total pay decimal divided by count integer. Hope that's making sense. Once I've got that average, I might as well put that on the form. So here's average, txt average, good naming convention, Mr. Hearn. So txt average pay earn dot text equals average pay decimal. Okay, well, let's run this. By the way, every time I run this, it saves all for me, but it's not a bad idea to get in the habit. So a name, a number of pieces, 100, calculate, summary, 100 pieces, total pay, average pay, didn't make it out there. What did I miss? TXT amount earned. Well, I didn't want that. I see what happened. I'll bet some of you have done that. Maybe not. You guys are awesome. TXT average pay dot text. I think I hit tab a little prematurely there. But that's why I like to do things one thing at a time. You get one thing right and move on. 100, calculate, summary. The average pay so far is 50, and I know, hey, I probably should have two-stringed that thing because it's a pay, but the 50 is good at least. Let's go, no clear button yet. Let's go 200. I had a $50, one person paid 50, another 110. 110 and 50 is 160 for two people, $80. I like it. So let's go, I'll steal from here, not two-string. Okay, so I feel like everything's working there in my summary right now. I want to make certain I'm not missing something there. And one thing they do ask us in the summary not to allow summarizing unless there is, you can go back and you can take a look at that in the book, but unless there's been an entry. So I'm going to put right in here, if count integer is less than 1, then what am I going to do? I'm going to go message box. And I'll put the second one here, and I'll get rid of that for now. Message box. There has been no entry, something along that line. And then I will else, seeing a little theme here, else I want to do all of this stuff. Okay, so now if I come in here, the big problem with that is it would try to divide by 0, right? Let's see, it would try to divide by 0, and that would kill the program if I didn't have that protected. So only if there's been an entry or more will we allow this. So right now, let's try this. If I go here, and then I do this, and then I forget to enter, I can't even hit the summary button now. So in some regards, I'm probably safe there. It's just doubly safe. Okay, so let's take care of the clear button. And the clear button has got a lot to do. We're going to clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All 6 of those text boxes are going to be clear. What we're not going to clear, we're not going to set our count back to 0 or our totals. Our summary values are going to maintain their values. Our summaries are going to maintain, our private variables are going to maintain their values. That's what I mean. Okay, so anyway, here's our clear button. So I'm just going to start going TXT and see what they got. I wish I could click all of these in at the same time. TXT. I want to clear all of the text boxes on that page because I made labels of the other stuff. TXT. txt, and that is all of them. I'm going to go dot clear, and then I'm going to steal from myself here. I can probably type it in as quickly as I do this, but and then just for good measure, I think on my form, my very top entry is name. That's probably the next thing they would enter. So I think just to be kind to them, I'm going to go txt name dot focus. I've spoken with many of you about that, just trying to anticipate the keystrokes, what the person would do. Alrighty. Now that is our clear button. Oh, correction there. I'm going to leave this here for right now. In the directions, it actually, I just looked back at that. I've got my directions here, and you could go back and forth on yours. It actually only wants the name and the pieces to be cleared. So I'm just going to do that. Whoops, not that one. I'm going to leave these because I'm going to steal those in just a minute for myself. So let's take a look at that. Here we go. I got a name. I've got a number of pieces. I calculate. I summarize. I clear. And there we are, ready for another name. Probably should have done that first because it's really handy right now. A summary, clear. That kind of makes sense. That's what we would do. Okay, now the clear all. For the clear all button, I'm going to clear all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those text boxes and the variables that are holding the total number of pieces and the total pay and the total amount earned. My total amount earned that I use for, which is the total pay, I guess. Those guys are going to get cleared, and my count. So let's go ahead and take care of that. Clear all. So we got clear all, but I do want to clear all of these guys. And maybe even focus back to there. Maybe I want all of that to happen here. Get rid of those comments. Set the focus back there, but all of these variables right up here, all of those variables, I don't want to really redimension them here, but in the clear all, I want to set those back equal to 0. I like stealing from myself. And I could probably type them if I'd remembered what I called them all. So all of those guys, the count gets set back to 0. Equals 0. Equals 0. Nope. Try that again. Equals 0. So we run this. And we got employee's name. And we got a number of pieces. That's not a number. And we calculate. We've got a summary. I clear that. Next person was a Hoss. Calculate. Oh, no name. Good. I got a name. I calculate. Summary. I clear. And we've got that. That's good. So I got another guy. I got pieces 14. I summarize. And now I clear all. And what I want to see is when I put the next worker in there, I got 110, and my summary is back to total number of pieces 200, 110, and the average pay 210. So I think we have that complete. Okay, last job here. Back to button calculate. Everything's working. However, if I try to run this, and I put in a name, I'll actually put in real Jeff this time, and I put in something here and calculate, kills the program. So I need right before here where the program kills, that's a good place to find out where to put it in, I need a try statement. I'm going to take this Control X, I'm going to take it to the bottom of all of this. Control V, I'm going to catch here. And the only mistake that the user could do now, I can anticipate. And that would be message box. Pieces must be numeric. And what else could I do for the users here? I'm going to go to txtpieces.text, or I'm just going to clear it. And I'm going to go to txtpieces and focus it. So we run this guy, and we enter a name, and we enter a number of pieces, and we calculate, and we clear, and we enter a name, and we enter pieces with an error, and we calculate. Pieces must be numeric. Oh, you know what? Doesn't look like I cleared amount earned, did I? Let's try that again. All right, so now I'm going to go number, calculate, summary, clear. Oh, yeah, I don't want to. You could clear that. Maybe the directions say clear that one. But I think we are in good shape at this point. I'm not certain that we can do a whole lot more for our user. One thing I want to point out then, a lot of times I will choose text. These could be labels. Each of these that I'm selecting right now could be labels. However, text boxes are kind of easy to get the uniformity of size than labels are, and they have the pre-border on it, so it's kind of nice to see those. But I did set their, initially I did set their read-only property to true. These are read-only, whereas this text box read-only is false. And my other setting, as you can see, that summary, although it doesn't show it here, was set to be enabled false. Okay, now this program, you're going to want to hang on to this one because this is going to be used as the 5.1 video example, and that video will be quite a bit shorter than this. You are now responsible not for the hands-on programming in the book. You're responsible for creating this program. So I will go through the code again. If you want to take a picture of it, I would say only use that code in the event that you get stuck. Hopefully you're synthesizing some of this as you go through this video. So I'll go back to here. You can see what I have. Again, I probably shouldn't even do this. After seeing that, it would definitely be in your best interest not to be taking pictures of this, but I'm going to give you about the count of 5 to get your pictures taken. Of course, I guess you can pause it at any point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and let's just move down from there. You may get a picture of that. And a picture of down from there. That's the end of it. But please, please, please give that one a shot on your own. You got a lot of support given to you here. If you can do that one on your own, there's no doubt the remainder of the chapter 4s you can get done on your own. Best wishes, and we will be modifying this for our chapter 5, which I'm going to go ahead and call tutorial, but your tutorial, but you will still be responsible for this program. Have a great day.